Bryan, how you doing, bud?
Doing great, Aaron. How are you?
How many heart attacks did you have in the final 30 seconds last night, Bryan?
Man, at least 3. I aged about 10 years in that final 10 seconds. I tell you what, I have almost seen 2 of the most incredible finishes in games in the history of college basketball.
Yeah.
With the 3-on-5, if Alabama would have won that game, even though they outscored Minnesota with going 3-on-5, if Alabama comes back and wins that game, that would have been one that they'd be talking about forever and ever. And last night may have been the same thing. To almost close a game on a 10-0 run in the final 10 seconds is something that I've never seen, and fortunately I can still say that I've never seen it, because when you're up 8, you can afford a 7-0 run in the final 10 seconds, but you can't afford any more than that. And Alabama, fortunately, was able to get a big victory over Mercer, and definitely at the end a little more stressful than any of us would have liked.
Bryan, that's a good Mercer team, and listen, people who kind of study this knew that, but the record was a little bit gave a few of us pause, like, what's going on with this team? But man, they got some guys. They're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country.
They are top 5 nationally in 3-point percentage, and this is a Mercer team that's projected to be in the NCAA tournament. They haven't been at full speed all year. They've had some injuries, and Ryan Holland, who was terrific last night, had 21 points in the game and made a bunch of threes, and fortunately missed that one at the end. He is one of the best players, not only in his conference, but one of the best veteran players in the country at his position, especially from a mid-major team like Mercer. But Mercer's a quality opponent. I expect them to be in the NCAA tournament. In Alabama, every time you look up, I mean, we say it every game. I mean, it sounds redundant, but it's true. Every game is a tough opponent. Maybe one exception. Alabama A&M is a team that's trying to find their way under a first-year head coach and trying to build that program. But everybody else has been tough, and the RPI and strength of schedule reflects that. But it's not an accident that Alabama has played one of the toughest schedules in the country. It's to get this team ready for SEC play. It's to build a tournament resume, and it's trying to bring this team together with several young players. And Alabama, through injury, has been able to navigate through the non-conference portion of the schedule, but still one big one to go on Friday night.
Bryan, one thing that's confusing me, and to be fair to Avery Johnson, is probably because he just had his full lineup available to him last night, is at times I don't know what they're doing with the lineup, but they're playing so many different guys, and 10 guys last night registered at least 8 minutes. And I get, like I said, you just got Braxton Key back last night. You've had to deal with some injuries and some suspensions. So how long do you think it takes to firm up a rotation? And ideally, how long would you want it to take?
Well, ideally, you'd like it to take about 2 seconds. But the reality is, especially when you play a schedule like Alabama has, and also the injury situation that Alabama has dealt with. I mean, Riley Norris has come back, but it's taken him a little while to get back into a flow. Obviously, great to have Braxton back, but he struggled last night, and I was not surprised by that, not because Braxton isn't a great player and he hasn't worked hard to get back, but he's been out for a month. He hasn't played much basketball at all other than the last week or so of practice. So I expected to see some rust from him. I expected to see a little rust from this entire Alabama team. You're in the heart of the season or in the heart of the non-conference and take a layoff, and understandably so with finals last week. It's important for these guys to finish up the semester strong and focus in on academics. But there was rust. There was rust from some of the guys coming back. Great to have Braxton back, but still it may take a little while. But this is a team also that maybe played a couple of guys more than they expected because of production. Alex Reese is a guy that didn't get to play against Arizona. Obviously had a great week of practice and really proved himself to the coaches. And I don't think that they anticipated him playing him as much as he did, but that was because he produced. He came out and played really well, made big plays on both ends of the floor, a couple of big baskets in the second half, a great defensive play. So there's a freshman that's earning more playing time. And if you're a guy that's not in the rotation, you want to make it difficult on the coaching staff to have to play more guys and to play you. And I think Alex Reese went a long way to earning more playing time last night.
Braxton Key came back, and as you mentioned, there's going to be some rust with his game. Looked a little passive on offense, but again, nothing to be concerned about because he's just coming back. What did you see from him last night, Bryan?
Well, I saw a guy that had some rust, that hadn't played in a while and struggled. No reason to be surprised or worried. Braxton is a guy that is going to be really good and really important for this Alabama team moving forward. And I expect him to get back into a flow sooner rather than later. Hopefully it starts Friday night, but if not, we're not too far away from the SEC opener in Texas A&M coming into Coleman Coliseum on December 30th. But the good news for Alabama is even though Braxton was rusty, didn't play his best game by far, he's someone that you can count on, that you know what you're getting. He's done it in the SEC last year as a freshman. It's just one of a handful of players that was either all SEC or all freshman SEC that has returned back to the conference. So he's one of the top returning players in the league, and he's healthy. He's getting back, trying to shake the rust off a little bit, but I'm not worried about that, and he will be a huge addition to this team moving forward.
Talking to Bryan Passink, color commentator for Alabama men's basketball broadcast on CTSN. We've kind of gushed over Collin Sexton, but watching it last night, he just makes everything look so easy, Bryan. I mean, he had 21 points, and it didn't look like he had 21 points. I mean, he gets to the free throw line, he's converting on those opportunities. He had a guy with a spin move down the lane for a left-handed layup. He just makes everything look so effortless, and you look up, and he's got 21 at the end of the night.
Yeah, so much fun to watch. And once got in foul trouble at Arizona, got 2 quick first-half fouls, and ended up coming back in the first half and playing well, and didn't play quite as well in the first half once he got into foul trouble. And that's something that I'm sure he wants to do a better job with, because I thought it took away from his aggressiveness, especially in the first half. Alabama was settling for jumpers and not attacking the basket. Nobody does that better than Collin. But he was terrific in the second half, and he's been better than advertised. And that's saying a lot, because we haven't seen a player come to Tuscaloosa that's been this hyped in a long, long time. And Collin Sexton has not just lived up to expectations, he's exceeded those. So I agree with you. So much fun to watch, makes the game look so easy. He's got athleticism, explosiveness, competitiveness. He's unselfish. I love the way that he and John Petty play together. Those guys, just a couple freshmen, haven't played together long, but they play like they've been around each other a long time. They set each other up. They seem to know where the other is going to be, and they've been a whole lot of fun to watch. They were last night. It was great to see John Petty, the hometown hero there from Huntsville, have a big game. 18 points. Started off struggling shooting the ball, but ended up making big plays down the stretch. So a couple of freshmen for Alabama, those two, and Alex Reese came up big for the Tide last night. Yeah,
they certainly got a connection. There was one play where Collins driving finds John way out, and John buried a three at a very key moment of that game. We've seen from Avery's teams his first couple of years that they're a good defensive team. They're not there yet. Is that more of a byproduct of maybe what Alabama lost last year in Jimmy Taylor, or is it that you got some youth, that you got some freshmen who are learning how to play together? And what do you think this team's potential is on defense?
Well, I think they have lost some really good defenders the last couple of years, and you've replaced that with guys that I believe are much better on the offensive end, much more skilled, talented, and capable defenders. Not to that level. I mean, that veterans are. I mean, guys like Jimmy Taylor, they've been around a while, and that's their strength. And this team has guys that can defend. But I think what gives this team a much higher ceiling than any in the Avery Johnson era is their ability on the offensive end. And I don't think they've scratched the surface of what this team will ultimately be offensively. They're getting better on the defensive end, and you've got some young guys, but they're all willing defenders. They all want to play. Collin Sexton takes as much pride on the defensive end as he does offensively. And with Dante Hall's emergence on the offensive end, we know what he could do defensively. Braxton Key's a really good defender, and he's getting back into the flow. John Petty, a young player, a capable defender, has the athleticism to get the job done on that end of the floor. Dazon has been through the wars and can guard. He's one of Alabama's best perimeter defenders. Riley Norris, a versatile defender. This team can be a really good defensive team, and I thought they did a pretty good job, especially in the second half last night against a team that shoots it about as well as anybody in college basketball from three in Mercer.
Bryan, I wanted to get your thoughts on the league so far as league play is getting ready to get cranked up here in about a week and a half. 8 teams right now in the SEC are in the top 50 RPI, and then you've got Florida just outside at 55. The league's doing a much, outside of Mississippi State, the league is doing a much better job of scheduling non-conference, and it's a deep league this year. What do you think of what you've seen so far from the SEC?
Well, I think the league really is kind of an appetizer to where it's going. Last year in the NCAA tournament really got the nation's attention, what's going on in basketball in the SEC. And it starts at the top. I mean, the coaches from top to bottom in the SEC, it's as good as it's been in a long time. And I'm trying to remember when 1 through 14 was as good as it is right now from a head coaching standpoint. And the recruiting has been off the charts. Top 100 players are going to the SEC at a higher rate than they're going anywhere else. And that's without Kentucky. Kentucky obviously gets it done from a recruiting standpoint, but you look across the league at the young talent that's come in over the last year or two, and it's as good or better than anybody in college basketball. So I'm not surprised at all that the league has had this much success in the non-conference. I think yesterday, number 2 RPI league in the country, have dropped some games over the last week, but this league has done what they needed to do in the non-conference, and that is so important. Even though the focus in the Deep South in November and December is on college football, and understandably so, that is a critical time of year for SEC basketball because you have to build up your resume and you have to get wins in the non-conference because all of a sudden, we're a week or so away from teams just battling each other for the most part. And the haze in the barn from the public perception, from the nation's perspective of what this league is. And if you go out in the non-conference and play a really tough schedule, which the league has, and win games, which the league has, all of a sudden you start beating up on each other in league play, and you're still able to get 7, 8, even possibly 9 teams in the NCAA tournament. And I think that's what's going to happen this year.
Wrapping up here with Bryan Passink. Bryan, I know you do your homework. We got a good Texas team coming to Birmingham on Friday with just an outstanding one of those true freshmen around the country that's really performing for his team. But they've got an injury, right? What do you know about this Texas team, and how big is this game for Alabama in terms of what it wants to do in the postseason?
Well, it's a huge game. It's your last game before conference play starts. It's a marquee matchup. I mean, the nation will be watching. Literally, it's on ESPN2, so the nation will be watching. Should be either a sellout or close to it at the BJCC. So should be a great atmosphere. And these are two teams that right now are projected to be higher in their league. Texas out of the Big 12, which is one of the top leagues in the country. The SEC, as we've talked about, has been really good. And Alabama and Texas both picked fairly high in both of their respective leagues. And this is a game between teams that are projected to be in the NCAA tournament. You've got the high-profile guys on the floor in Collin Sexton and Mo Bamba, the 7'1" center for Texas. These are guys that when they decide to go to the next level and go to the NBA, these are two guys that have been projected as high as top 5 overall draft picks, both lottery picks. So you've got everything you want. Alabama, Texas, big-time players on the floor trying to build an NCAA tournament resume. Should be a great atmosphere and a great opportunity for Alabama to come back to Birmingham in front of a packed house and get a big win.